What's up, patrons and Patreon members? Here it is, the highly anticipated, most requested guide of all time.
What you've been waiting for.
BTS. My HF is way bigger than his.
Yeah, that was the first hat we got made. And this was the second hat. Let us know what you rocking with more. We got some hats in the mail for some peeps, too. I ain't gonna lie, I picked the slowest way for it to get there because I was like, dang.
Yeah.
They be taxing us because some of y'all live super far away, but you will get it.
For sure. Let's jump in, man. Who's your favorite BTS member so far?
Probably a RM, but I feel like I don't know him enough.
Yeah.
But
me
what about you?
Today,
I like J-Hope so far. He's my favorite. And then V.
Everyone knows the name of BTS. They've been invited onto late-night talk shows, they've shattered records, they've sold out stadiums, they've made it onto the big screen. These days, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone who didn't know who these guys were, or at least haven't heard one of their songs. And if they don't, either they've been living under a rock, or they're 100 years old. The success of the Bang 10 Boys is worldwide, but it wasn't always like this.
Like
and it all started with one man.
Who that?
YG. YG wanted to make himself a rap group. In the late 90s, he experimented with this idea with different trainees, eventually choosing 7 members. And while 3 of them eventually left, the remaining 4, Teddy, Danny, Jinhwan, and Baekhyun, debuted in 1998 as One Time. Their first album, titled One for Your Mind, was one of the year's best-selling albums and won several awards, including the Global Disc and SBS Music Awards for Best New Artist and KMTV's award for Best Hip-Hop Artist. The group enjoyed moderate success and released 4 more albums before going on indefinite hiatus in 2006 due to their mandatory military service.
The year was 2010, and the 5-year-old company...
Speaking of that mandatory military service, somebody messaged me yesterday and was like, hey, just FYI, I think it's like 2024. They were like, Taeyong's going to be going to the military. I was like, ooh. Like, I forget about that. It's just different.
Is it like everybody has a set time and age group that they go?
I think so.
So is it like from like age like 23 to like 25?
Yeah, it's some. I don't know. We need to find out. But somebody messaged me that, so let us know what it is. I mean, I'm sure we've seen it before, but literally, I'll lose the DM if I don't like pin it.
If it was under my control, like I would just go right after high school, get it over with.
Me too.
And then I could just live my life, because that sucks that you reach stardom and then you have to go back. You know, I mean, like. But it just depends on how they perceive it. You know, some of them might feel like it's an honor, you know.
Yeah.
This is mandatory. Maybe they don't have much feelings about it at all.
Yeah, I'm sure that some of them don't want to go, though. I mean, it's just being real. And I would be interested to get some backstory on who's went and then, like, they just weren't the same when they bounced back musically, and who's went and came back stronger. You know what I'm saying? If any of those stories exist. But just wanted to touch on that.
Man, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I wonder how they feel about it. They probably are definitely not allowed to speak on it, especially if they don't agree with it.
Hey, we're learning.
Company, Big Hit Entertainment, had previously signed 2 artists, 88 and 2AM. They had their share of successes, but they were very traditional K-pop groups. Big Hit wanted a fresh, new sound, and upon listening to One Time, CEO Hitman Bang Si-hyuk had decided that that was the sound that he was looking for. And on top of that, the youth needed someone to relate to, and more importantly, look up to. He had decided he would create a hip-hop group.
Man, I thought we earned our way through like no ads. We're just not cool enough yet. Okay.
At 15 years old, Kim Namjoon auditioned for a certain Big Deal Records, which he completely botched, forgetting the lyrics to the song he was performing. Afterwards, fellow rapper Sleepy recommended that he try auditioning at another label, Big Hit, and even put in a good word for him to one of the producers there. At age 16, Kim auditioned in front of Bang Si-hyuk himself and instantly impressed him. He was offered a deal with Big Hit on the spot, which Kim accepted and became a trainee, officially choosing a name for himself, Rap Monster, destined to become the leader of the newly created group. Now that a fearless leader was chosen, they needed more members.
That's dope.
Min Young-gi was a 17-year-old living in Daegu, an avid basketball player and rapper. He had been interested in music, especially rap, from a very early age, and despite his parents' disapproval, started performing as a rapper while still in high school. He quickly gained attention as a rapper and producer in the underground hip-hop scene. One day he saw a flyer for a rap competition called Hit It and decided to participate. And although he only placed second, the company hosting the competition, you guessed it, Big Hit, decided to sign him on as a producer. Hitman Bang spoke with him afterwards, convincing him to join a newly created hip-hop group. He told him to just focus on rapping and assured him that he wouldn't need to dance. He was lying. And just like that, the new group had a second member, known as Suga, a combination of the first two syllables of shooting guard, his favorite position in basketball. But they wouldn't stop there. Rappers were nice, but Big Hit actually needed a dancer. Jung Ho-seok always loved dancing. He was in the starting lineup of the dance crew Neuron in his hometown, Gwangju. He was good at it too, winning several local championships and even winning a championship at the national level in 2008. When he decided to audition for JYP Entertainment though, after a few rounds of auditions, he was cut. Fortunately, he didn't give up and went to his second option, a smaller, lesser-known company, Big Hit Entertainment. His dance skills and strong understanding of rhythm made him an instant favorite, and he was signed on as J-Hope. Not only that, but they saw potential in him to become a rapper, which at this point he had little experience with. However, J-Hope quickly felt that he wasn't a good fit and decided to leave Big Hit until RM convinced both J-Hope and Big Hit that the group wouldn't be complete without him. He was right.
근데 형 항상 중간고야 아니면 종호석 와야 된다고 종호석 안 오면 진짜 안 된다고. 멤버 그냥 믿고 간 거야 나도 그냥. 올해 했고 멤버 보고 왔다. 멤버 보고 왔어 진짜. 근데 나는 진짜 네가
With the addition of J-Hope, the rap line was complete. Now they needed some singers. Now, just like how RM, an amazing rapper with a ton of experience, was chosen as the first official member of the rap line, it would only make sense that a legendary singer and dancer would be the perfect first member of the vocal line. Right? But Kim Seok-jin didn't have any sort of experience like that. Believe it or not, one day when he was walking on the streets of his hometown, Anyang, he was approached by a representative of SM Entertainment with an offer to work for the company. In typical Jin fashion, he never followed up with them because he believed it to be a scam. Apparently, Jin was a very good-looking guy because years later, this time as a college student in Seoul, he was once again approached on the street, this time by an executive at Big Hit Entertainment.
That's crazy he got hit up by SM first.
Right.
He didn't sing, he didn't dance. He was at school to become an actor, and he decided to audition to become an actor. Big Hit, however, had different plans for him, and convinced him to become a vocalist for their new group. To do so, he literally learned to dance and sing starting from zero, but thankfully, not without help from other vocalists.
Wow.
That's amazing right there, man. If somebody took me off the street and say, Fredo, I need you to dance, they'd be a fool. But I don't even know.
Right. Low key.
I don't even know if I can do that.
But I bet we could, bro.
We probably could, though.
You know
what
I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. That's amazing, bro.
John Jung-kook initially had dreams of becoming a badminton player when he was young, but after seeing G-Dragon perform Heartbreaker on television, it influenced him to want to become a singer instead. Because of this, at only age 14, he decided to audition for the South Korean talent show, Superstar K. He didn't pass auditions, but this was just enough to catch the eye of not one company, not two companies, but 7 different companies. This included JYP, FNC, Woollim, Starship Entertainment, TS, Cube, and of course, Big Hit Entertainment. So why did Jungkook, given the choice of all these bigger companies, decide to go with the relatively smaller company, Big Hit? The answer was simple. Because he thought, and I quote, RM was cool, so I wanted to sign with them. That brings the number of members to 5. The next member of BTS was just as surprised to find Big Hit as Big Hit was to find him, and it almost didn't happen. Kim Taeyong was always passionate about music, and it was always his dream to pursue it as a career. However, it was hard, as his family was poor, his parents being humble farmers. His father told him that if he was passionate about music, he should learn an instrument, and he did, spending 3 years practicing with the saxophone. One day, one of his friends decided to audition for Big Hit Entertainment when they were holding auditions in his hometown of Daegu. Taeyong, being a good friend, came with him to keep him company, but when one of the team members in charge of the audition saw Taeyong, he encouraged him to audition as well. With nothing to lose, He did. That day, he was the only one in Daegu to move on to the next round of auditions, and eventually became a trainee for Big Hit Entertainment. They decided to keep him as a surprise member and didn't want to reveal him as one of the members until his debut. In the same vein, Big Hit had him choose something mysterious for his stage name. He decided to go with V for victory. Here seems like a nice round number to stop, right? 6 members for a new hip-hop group, 3 rappers,
I really
3
like
vocalists.
V and Pied
It seems like a complete group, but still there was something missing. Someone was missing. Someone that could take this already great group of artists and push it even further to achieve perfection. A powerhouse. Someone so naturally talented that they could stand out in a room full of already talented artists. This project that Big Hit had embarked upon needed a capstone. Park Jimin was a naturally talented dancer. When he was in middle school, he attended a dance academy and continued to pursue dance at Busan High School of Arts, where he studied contemporary dance and was the top student in the whole modern dance department. Impressed by his raw talent, a teacher encouraged him to audition for Big Hit Entertainment, who were holding auditions in Busan. He was only 16 when he passed the audition and moved to Seoul to become a trainee. He was the final member of the group, and he also had the shortest training period.
What's interesting to note is that the group feels very much ragtag because in a sense, with the exception of Jimin, it was. RM and J-Hope only auditioned for Big Hit because they didn't pass their auditions with the first company they chose. And despite their amazing talent, Suga and Jungkook didn't win the competitions they were in, but they signed on to Big Hit after the fact because of their high quality performances. V never even planned on auditioning and just decided to do it on a whim. And they literally just found Jin on the streets, but perhaps it was fate. Because this was the group that they chose. And just like that, in 2012, the newly created Bangtanso년dan, the Bulletproof Boy Scouts, or simply BTS, was 7.
Okay. BTS.
That's dope.
Bulletproof
I feel
Boy
like
Scouts?
just after hearing this, it seems like they were almost like destined to do this. Like it was like destiny.
Yeah, it's definitely a different story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And even the parts where it was just like, it reminded me of like athletics. I really can't think. I was going to ask you what basketball team they remind you of, but it's just like, you know, it's not like a super team that like everybody was an all-star and then just got it cracking. Like some of these dudes didn't know how to do certain things and they were just like, nah, like you gonna learn. Like
they remind me of the Detroit Pistons in like early 2000s. Like no, they didn't have a superstar. And they won the chance. They beat the superstars.
Yeah, but there are superstars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
they became superstars.
I like the
in
story.
the process. You know.
Yeah,
I could
like
talk
the
about
story
that
a
for a long time, but I guess there's probably not a lot of basketball fans in there. But yeah,
it's a good analogy though. But yeah, that's the feel that it's giving me. Like, and I feel like we haven't even listened to a lot of BTS songs for me to be able to recognize them like I can the NCT 127 members. That was just the first group that we like got down. Yeah. But man, BTS is solid. I like the story.
I think we're gonna be like super well rounded if we continue on this path. Like we'll know 127, we'll know BTS, we'll probably know Stray Kids and ATs. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
아침에 리허설 때 이거 보고 많이 웃었습니다. They had the group, but they still needed the music. In early 2013, they set out to create some social media presence for themselves before officially debuting, posting song covers on both SoundCloud and YouTube, which you can still go watch today.
In May, Big Hit launched a countdown clock on their website in preparation for BTS's debut album, complete with a trailer and a ton of promotional material, including photos for the first time of all the members in the official lineup. Finally, the big day came. June 12, 2013, BTS held a press conference and a debut showcase where they performed their 2 singles, No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. The same day, the Too Cool for School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream, were released.
My basketball coach used to say stuff like that.
The very next day, BTS performed the song again on their official debut stage on Mnet's M Countdown. This was the world's first taste of BTS. Commercially, the album didn't do extraordinarily well. The lead single, No More Dream, peaked at 124 in Korea, and the album sold only 24,000 copies during its first year. Bulletproof Part 2 didn't even chart. The first year wasn't all that great for BTS, but despite everything, people saw them.
So they got off to a pretty
rough
start.
Yeah.
Make any more.
I knew they was gonna double at us. Yeah, I'm liking their story so far. The underdogs.
Yeah.
People saw the sparkle in their eyes. People saw the sparkle in their eyes and their limitless potential. And they were hot, of course. On July 9th, ARMY was established as BTS's official fandom. They made their comeback only 2 months later in September when they released their single, No, along with their EP, part 2 of what would be their school trilogy, Oh, Are You Late 2. In the music video for the single, they made a commentary on the harsh Korean education system, along with their previous themes of hopes and dreams. No peaked at 92 in Korea, but also quickly fell off the charts. The album debuted at number 4 on the Gaon Weekly chart and was the 55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award at the Melon Music Awards, the Golden Disc Awards, and the Seoul Music Awards. Part 3 of the School Trilogy was released in February of 2014, the EP School Love Affair. This time,
I hate to keep pausing it, but I wonder how the Korean education system is.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, because they legitimately did a track in a video like speaking up against it.
Yeah, and it looked like it was like super strict, robotic, like like it was almost like a factory. American education system is much more laid back, but I'm like against it myself because we like learn the wrong things, if that makes sense. Like we don't learn practical life skills. And it's almost like repetition of information is pretty much our education system.
Yeah.
Like you just regurgitate baseless information.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it was helpful for me as an adult. I mean, especially the more access we have to the internet and different videos, and then it's like I'll get down the rabbit hole of like conspiracies and, you know, all this other stuff. So now I just like wipe my whole brain clean. Like, look, I don't know what's true or not, but like, what do I need to learn and perfect in order to, you know, be the best version of me and complete my craft? So I don't know about our education system either. It just depends on who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I don't like the fact that they treat everybody's treated and tested the same, like, because I was super creative. And if I'm not really interested in something, I don't really want to particularly sit there and learn it.
Yeah, big facts.
And I was great. I was a great student when I tried. But as I got older, I tried less and less because I could just feel in my spirit like this was like not information that I even remotely even cared about. Like, and I fear for my daughter because she's a lot like me. Like if she's interested in something, she'll learn it like that. At 4 years old, she knows how to call me on her own cell phone without learning how to read. Like, she can't read, but she can find videos she wants on YouTube and everything. And like,
I think I witnessed the moment of her sending you her very first text because you were like, oh my gosh. I was like, what? You was like, bro, Layla just texted me.
Yeah.
He's like, how? And I'm like, bro, she know how to work that phone, bro.
She figured out how to send the little kissy face emoji, and she sent me like 36 of them.
Yeah. But I think, you know, I think that's just how certain people are wired. And, you know, the education system sometimes made me feel like it was wrong of me to be wired differently. Yeah. But I was the same way. Like, now that I think about it, I was super smart, just like only in certain subjects. But I was always true to myself because I would be like, I was the guy that always would be like, hey, like, when are we going to use this in like the grocery store? And like I remember one time I got wrote up in math class because she thought I was being funny, but like math has never been my thing. Otherwise, you know, so like she literally was like, I don't know what we were doing, but I was like, when am I going to use this when I'm an adult? Like otherwise, I don't even want to learn it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like so I don't know.
Yeah.
The lead single was Boy in Love. And the other single being Just One Day.
Did we hear that?
The album, as well as both singles,
so.
enjoyed moderate success, with the album topping the Gaon album chart, as well as making its first international appearance at number 3 on the Billboard World Albums chart. The album also marked their first distinctive change in theme, focusing more on school life and young love, as evidenced by their Boy in Love music video. They also held their first fan meetings with a crowd of 3,000 in Seoul. BTS was doing well. That is, until July. This is, unfortunately, a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and ARMY. That's right, American Hustle Life. I'm joking, of course, but American Hustle Life was a reality show put together by Mnet that brought BTS to Los Angeles, where they had the unique opportunity to learn the true ways of hip-hop from the masters. And it was a pretty darn cringy opportunity, but an opportunity nonetheless. Whatever you do, just don't watch the RNG version of Boy in Love.
Was that Coolio?
Yeah.
However, cringe and all, the trip proved fruitful for BTS, making connections, performing their first US concert for free in front of 200 fans, as well as their first appearance at KCON. The next month, in August, BTS released their first full-length studio album, Dark and Wild. The album featured 2 singles, Danger and War of Hormones. The album featured a marked shift in sound with a touch of R&B and electronica. It was met with moderate success. It peaked at number 2 in Korea, selling over 200,000 albums. In October, and again in May of the following year, BTS went on their first and second concert tours, known as the Red Bullet Tour, where they visited 13 different countries, including Japan, the Philippines, Australia, the US, Mexico, and many others. They also came out with their first Japanese album in December, Wake Up, featuring many Japanese versions of their songs, as well as original tracks Wake Up and The Stars, followed by a Japan tour and a solo concert in Korea. Although Dark and Wild got decent attention, they needed something different. They needed something that would shake things up. They got to work. April 29, 2015 was their comeback. When this album was produced, each member had a hand in writing songs for the album. They again changed their sound, from aggressive hip-hop to youthful, colorful styles. And not only their sound, but their image as well. This can be evidenced by their newest EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. And just by looking at the album cover, they ditched the dark colors and the bulletproof vest symbol that had become so synonymous with BTS, and replaced it with a simple white and pink background overlaid with the title. And then, they dropped the single that would change everything. I Need You. I need you, girl. It was sentimental, it was hopeful, it was new. Just by looking at the music video, we can see that BTS has also ditched their punk bad boy image and replaced it with a more real, vulnerable, down-to-earth, and youthful feel. This proved to be the change that BTS needed for mainstream success. Billboard called it one of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It charted at number 5 in Korea, and even led them to their first music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. And that wasn't all, they released their second single, Dope, on June 24th, which started off with a poignant line from RM.
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Welcome. Is this your first time with BTS? And you know what? For a lot of people, it was.
We saw that.
In a way, their first studio album and tour can be seen as their stepping stone between old school BTS and new school. In November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run.
Can you run, run? Ooh, ooh.
We did that?
I did that with Jasmine's daughter.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Kendra.
I was like, because it sounds familiar. I was like, but, yeah, I got to go back and watch that episode again. I got to watch a lot of episodes again. Just because
I like this song.
Which, in November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run. The album focused even more on the frivolity, friendship, and carefree attitude that comes with enjoying one's youth, but just like in I Need You, contrasted that with suffering, depression, loneliness, society, and the stark and sometimes dark reality of life. Compare this with the far cry of the No More Dreams music video. It felt real. It was darker, grittier, more humble, more meaningful, and most importantly, RM lost his mohawk. Run also connected narratively with their previous single, I Need You, and another video released in September titled Onstage Prologue established what would come to be known as the BTS universe, or the BU. which would eventually combine music videos, short films, books, short stories, webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story. And I won't go down this rabbit hole because there is a lot to digest, but it's definitely something to look into if you're a hardcore ARMY. The same month, they kicked off their third tour,
like
The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on
We need to take game from that.
That just gave me an idea, man. Higher Faculty Music Group is getting the blueprint.
No, like for real, bro. They literally just gave us the blueprint of like, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Man, what?
That is super connection. Like that's
what it's all about too.
Yeah. Like
now I see why their fans are so like about them. Like it's like a whole planet for them.
For sure. And I see why we enjoy this so much too. It's because we're connecting with other people and they're connecting with us. And we're essentially just sharing perspectives.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Stage tour where they performed songs from their 2 recent EPs, Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 was a hit, their biggest so far. It topped the weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts, and on Billboard, it stayed there for multiple weeks, the first K-pop act to do so. It also appeared on the Billboard 200 albums chart, not world albums, which is reserved for foreign non-English songs, but simply the top 200 albums, peaking at 171. Which is kind of amazing considering that this was back in 2015. They also received Best World Performer at the 17th Mnet Asian Music Awards. This brings us to Part 3 of the Youth Trilogy, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, which featured probably my favorite BTS album cover. Young Forever was actually a compilation album of parts 1 and 2, so it was mostly the same songs, but it was notable that it had some new singles, Epilogue, Young Forever, Fire, and Save Me. The latter two performed exceptionally well, with both songs topping the Billboard World Digital Songs chart. This was also the second BTS album to chart on the Billboard 200 at 107, and it topped both the...
You know what song that is acoustically in the background?
No.
Gaon Weekly
Listen to it.
and monthly chart, which earned BTS their first Taeyong.
I don't know.
Life goes on.
Oh, I didn't even catch it. I was paying attention. That's a good point.
Album of the Year at the 8th Melon Music Awards. They went on to do the second half of their tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on Stage, Epilogue, selling out many of their concerts and even selling out KCON in the US where they headlined the event. In September, they dropped their second Japanese album, Youth, featuring Japanese versions of tracks from their previous 3 EPs, which went gold and peaked at #1 on Japanese charts. And only a month later, in October of 2016, it happened. BTS dropped their second studio album, Wings. It sold over 500,000 copies in its first week. In comparison, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1, released just the previous year, which topped the Gaon chart, sold about 500,000 in its entire lifetime. Wings was big, but the true showstopper was its lead single, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which got them their first all-kill, topping 8 music charts in South Korea. Its music video gained 6 million views in the first 24 hours, which broke the YouTube record for the highest number of views of a K-pop group music video within 24 hours. The album hit number 26 on the Billboard 200, the highest ever charting K-pop album on Billboard. They ended up selling 1.5 million copies in South Korea in 2016 alone, and it netted them the Artist of the Year award at the Mnet Asian Music Awards that same year, the first non-Big 3 artist ever to receive that award.
수상자는 방탄소년단.
After Blood, Sweat, and Tears, they were on a roll. BTS was unstoppable. In February of 2017, they released the instant hit Spring Day, which, quoting a Korean reviewer, embodied nostalgia and sorrow and opened a new chapter in BTS's aesthetics and lyricism and attracted fans across generational boundaries. Which, by the way, is still on Korean charts after nearly 4 years. And the same day I'm writing this, it ranked number 53 on Melon. It won Song of the Year at the 9th Melon Music Awards. After the release of Spring Day, they went on yet another tour, the 2017 BTS Live Trilogy, Episode 3, The Wings Tour. The tickets sold out within minutes, including in the United States, the first K-pop artist to do so, and went on to win Best Social Artist at the Billboard Music Awards. The first for a Korean artist, but they would go on.
If you could, tell me what the first single they release was. Because we're literally watching the evolution of them. And I feel like when these bands come out.
This says No More Dream.
No More Dream.
First single ever.
I feel like the first few singles we saw them performing when they were young were like, I could tell that they were like creating for the purpose of what they thought people would like.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like playing into like stereotypes, like this is the new boy band, this is the new track, this is the new single we think you guys would like. Now it seems like later in their career they're starting to create music from the heart and share their testimony, and I feel like that's where their best music is coming from.
Oh yeah, especially just in a comparison of, you know, the discography that we've done from them so far.
Yeah.
Like we haven't even. This shows me we haven't even like scratched the surface. Like they've got all kinds of stuff we're gonna like.
On to win this award 4 years in a row. The next year was a period of massive growth for both the group's popularity as well as their style. They released the Love Yourself series, starting with Love Yourself Her in September of 2017, Love Yourself Tear in May of 2018, and Love Yourself Answer in August of 2018. 3 albums that gave us some of the most classic BTS songs that we know and love today, such as Mic Drop, Fake Love,
I would give us a commercial at that jam.
We got to hear these albums, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I like both of those songs. They're like my favorite BTS songs.
Yeah, easily.
You are the cousin of euphoria.
Idol.
Can't call me artist. Can't call me idol.
That's the one with Nicki Minaj.
Yep.
Nicki Minaj went crazy on that.
Dude, that beat sounds
All
nuts.
3 albums were commercial successes, Her being their first album to top 2 million album sales. But Tear and Answer also did equally well. These 3 albums, as well as their Japanese album, Face Yourself,
Look at that
proved
fish
that they
tank.
weren't done
That's
yet,
fire.
not even
That's
close.
what I need in my
During this
crib.
time, they shattered countless records. Their singles went platinum, they topped charts, they won awards. And not only did they break YouTube records, but they broke records that they themselves set again and again and again. This is the period where BTS really started enjoying global recognition, working with huge Western artists such as Nicki Minaj, Designer, and Steve Aoki. It wasn't their first time having international features on their songs, but it was definitely the biggest. And even though they were already, without a doubt, the biggest act to ever come out of South Korea, they had their eyes set even higher. They went on tour once again for the Love Yourself World Tour. During this tour, they collaborated with Steve Aoki to make the song Wasted on Me.
Wasted on me, wasted on me.
Notable for being their first all-English feature. And it also served as a jumping-off point for
dude
BTS
from,
to gain a following of English speakers.
Yeah, The
Not that
Hangover.
they were Map of the Soul Persona. First things first, you can't mention Map of the Soul Persona without mentioning Boy With Love. It was simple math. What do you get when you cross the singer of one of the best charting songs of all time that went platinum 59 times in 13 different countries with, without a question, the most globally dominant pop group of all time? Well, you get this. Nothing less than an instant hit. Number 8 on Billboard Hot 100. Platinum in the US. 21 music shows.
They just assume we know who she was. I don't know.
No, we don't know.
Wins. Number 1 on iTunes in 67 different countries. The most liked and the most viewed YouTube video in the first 24 hours.
Hazy.
The fastest
It says
video to
Hazy.
reach 100 million views. A current
We don't know who
view
that
count
is.
of over 1 billion views.
Oh, it's Halsey.
Oh, Halsey.
Yeah.
7 boys.
What song did she have?
I don't know.
I think it was that Thinking You Can Live Without Me.
Oh, I see. I wouldn't know.
Baby, I'm the one who put you up there.
1 girl and 7 different hair colors. They were the talk of the town, invited to talk show after talk show after talk show. The second single on the album was Make It Right.
Oh, I can make it right.
Written by Ed
Ooh, they
Sheeran
got
himself,
bangers.
including a version
we need to
featuring
get to
Lau.
it.
The album debuted at number 1 on Gaon and sold 3.2 million copies its first month, and that's only in Korea. It became the best-selling album in South Korea ever. It swept every major Korean music show, winning Album of the Year in each one of them. They followed up this legendary EP with the Love Yourself, Speak Yourself World Tour, where they sold out both the Rose Bowl and the Wembley Stadium in only an hour, the only non-English speaking act to do so. They even performed as a solo act in Saudi Arabia, the first foreign act to do that. The last stop of their tour was at South Korea's largest venue, the Seoul Olympic Stadium. They ended up grossing $200 million. During this time, they also created a visual novel style game for mobile devices called BTS World, where the player can interact with the members. This also came with an original soundtrack with tracks unique to the game featuring Western artists, Zara Larsson, Charlie XCX, and Juice WRLD for the tracks A Brand New Day, Dream Glow, and All Night respectively. In December of 2019, the group swept the grand prizes for both the Melon and Mnet Music Award shows, the first artist to do that. Map of the Soul persona was legendary, truly a marvel in modern music. So, how could BTS follow up the best-selling album in South Korean history, you may ask? Easy. Make an even better-selling album. And that's what they did with Map of the Soul 7. The album was released on February 21st, 2020, featuring the singles Black Swan.
Music powers everything. That's what I think.
And On.
I remember that one too.
Yeah.
And sold over 4.1 million albums in just the first week, and the first Korean album to be certified as quadruple million on the Gaon Music Chart. It debuted at number 1 on music charts all over the world, including the US, Korea, the UK, Japan, and much of Europe. It's not...
What singles from this album should we do? Question.
An exaggeration to say that this album left a permanent mark on the world, launching BTS into legendary status and becoming the best-selling artist in South Korean history. BTS had scheduled a Map of the Soul tour for April of that year, which would have undoubtedly outsold their record-breaking tour only a year prior, but unfortunately, the COVID pandemic caused the entire tour to be postponed, including the show at the Rose Bowl, which I was supposed to attend. But that didn't stop BTS, who performed virtual concerts, spoke at the Dear Class of 2020 graduation event, and released the Japanese version of their recent album with an original Japanese single, Stay Gold.
Stay gold.
And to top it all off, this was only June. At this point, it was clear that BTS had already dominated their home turf, and they had topped the music charts all over the world. This time, their sight was set for the very top. Remember that scene in The Social Network where Mark and Sean talk about how they don't want $1 million, they want $1 billion? How they're not interested in catching 14 trout, but they'd rather catch an 800-pound marlin? Well, that's what they set their sights on. The marlin, the biggest music industry in the world, the United States. And at the top of that music industry, number 1 on Billboard Hot 100. This small group from a company that virtually no one had heard about 8 years ago planned to take on Goliath himself and dominate the American industry on their home turf. And all they had to do was speak English. August 21st. Enter Dynamite.
I like this one.
Their first and only English single so far, simultaneously performed better than anyone had expected, but at the same time is exactly what we as an audience had come to expect from the legendary boy band themselves. And they did it. They reached number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100, the Global 200, and the Global Excluding US chart.
We put this reaction out, right?
Pretty sure we did.
Okay.
We'll double check.
Because I remember we reacted to this. Let's just tell them the truth. We reacted to this, and then the file got messed up or something, or our mics were muted or something was off. So we waited a long time, and then we redid it so we could forget the song.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But did we put it out?
I don't know. That's a good question. Search.
We'll look.
And they made sure that if you hadn't heard of them before, you definitely have now. And if that wasn't already the biggest flex, on October 2nd, they came out with Savage Love BTS Remix with Jason Derulo. Savage Love, did somebody break your heart? Getting number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 again, less than 2 months after already getting it number 1 with Dynamite. And on the Global 200, where they actually replaced themselves at number 1, the first artist to do so ever. So what makes BTS so special? How did they achieve all this? K-pop is a genre that spans for at least 30 years, and there have been hundreds of boy groups and hundreds of girl groups. What did BTS do to rise above all of them and break through to markets never before seen? Historically, the boy band industry has been dominated by white English-speaking bands. And the fact that BTS has not only held their own, but blew any sign of competition out of the water on a global scale can be attributed to nothing less than their talent, hard work, and a bit of a 1 in a million miracle. They did it through their own blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. Around the world, we see that boy bands have pretty much fallen into obscurity, but BTS is thriving. And though I've stated this all before, it's worth saying again, in contrast to other bands who would sing about romantic relationships with girls and what some would call predictable bubblegum pop tunes, BTS is continuously pushing the envelope and changing their styles. According to an article by Vulture.com, they describe this style as much less a successor of the Backstreet Boys and more of the successors of Michael Jackson, whose choreography and charisma were unprecedented. While of course there's a lot of love for the angelic vocals of BTS, rap has also played a very important part in creating their own style. In stark contrast to the typical boy band where every member sings, it's so refreshing when you're in the middle of a song and you hear RM's raw rapping skills, J-Hope's energy, or Suga's soul put into every single line. Interestingly enough, at the first glance, it seems that the success of BTS was miraculous, despite not being part of the Big Three, but it can also be argued that their success was because of their separation from the Big Three. Their label, Big Hit Entertainment, whose founder emphasizes artistic freedom more than anything else, allowed them to make their own sound. And going back to BTS universe, it's not often that a K-pop group does something special with each of their songs and albums, utilizing strong storytelling that can go beyond simply the song itself, but rather interconnected with other songs and even other albums to create one large overarching story. And not only do they all have their own expertise in performance, but also each of them have had the experience of writing and producing their own music, and they're not afraid to let their style evolve over time. BTS during their debut is such a far cry from Wings era BTS and current day BTS. They also chose to tackle more adult issues instead of simply love and girls. While they definitely didn't have a shortage of those, they also cover other very important issues such as mental health, regret, following your dreams, hard work, self-love, and many, many, many others.
That's
Add that to the fact that as fans, we
I love the name. I love the name and concepts of their albums, man. It really makes me want to listen more. Love Yourself, and then they got different versions of it. That's super dope, man. And I like the fact that the guy who orchestrated it all, one of his core values is freedom of self-expression and creativity, man.
Yeah, this is dope.
That's why I'm enjoying this so much, and I really want to learn more about them.
You can feel the authenticity of the members themselves. They seem approachable. BTS seems like there's a place for every type of fan. And in this fast-paced world where things change at unthinkable speeds, BTS has stayed grounded and faithful to who they were and who they are. Those kids we saw on American Hustle Life, along with their dreams and passions, are the same men who stand before us today. And while some artists like to keep their personal lives private, BTS gives us a look at their personal lives through their vlogs, which allow us to become more connected to them than ever before.
This is a Tempur-Pedic
They hit us with a late ad.
Right.
No, this makes me feel like I would love to be in a group for a lot of reasons. But I feel like it would have to be the right group. Otherwise, it could be a distraction. You know what I'm saying? Like,
should I start rapping, bro? I can rap.
But look, like, they're teaching each other how to do stuff. So, like, maybe I could just teach you how to rap. Like, even if I just wrote it and then just helped you practice it, like, you could be rapping too, bro.
I mean, I can rap. I just don't like to. And I got, like, I would say, like, I'm kind of shy about it because the last time I rapped was, like, in high school, and I was completely lying about stuff, like having money and having girls and doing bad stuff.
But if you could, I mean, I was too. But if you could rap now, and if we took it seriously, like how they did, like, we could build a super team. And then, like, what if we found somebody who could dance, and then we teach him how to rap, but he teach us how to dance. And
the higher faculties.
Yeah, we'd be out here stepping.
Should we make a group? The higher faculties. Each one of us is 7. Is 6 of us.
Like, I even like the concept now, just because the way K-pop music has changed me, it's like they said, like, you already have a very melodic vocal song, and then here comes RM with just enough to shift the whole song. But like, so me as a rapper or an artist, I have to keep that same energy the whole song, or I have to be all those other people, all those other roles. Like I could stop and sing one part, then rap one part. But when it's a group, I just feel like that would be dope.
That's what captivated me about K-pop from jump.
Yes.
Like I remember listening to Kick It. Like I was captivated before that, but I just remember listening to Kick It, and it was like down, and it's got energy on the hook from the jump. And then you hear, now I believe I can recognize, you hear Hayes Chan come in and just smooth R&B. Like I've never heard a hook come in rapping and chanting like it's an anthem, and then somebody just come wave and give a whole different feeling to the verse. Like I can't, like it was backwards.
It was like a sampler platter for me. It was just like a bunch of different samples, like not too much rap, not too much R&B, not too much beat, but then the beat changes. It was just like a lot to choose from. And like now when I listen to music, I expect that.
Yeah, man.
Like K-pop is making me want to listen to, like, everybody needs to change their format.
Man.
Like if I was just to listen to a rap song, like, and if it was a rapper who could rap and sing, like I would be like, bro, do both on there.
Right.
Like, split these segments up into 4 bars a piece. Like, don't even spit a straight 16, but I'm sure that's still cool too. But we haven't heard it in so long.
Exactly. And like to reference what I just said, like if somebody can rap and sing, let's say Drake, of course he's going to rap the verse and sing the hook.
Yeah.
I've never heard it in reverse. Somebody rapping the hook and then come in and there's so much flavor. Somebody's singing the verse. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
something that small was something I've never seen, I never heard before.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's wrap it up. We got like
that
1 minute.
With the exception of just one single, they're doing this all while singing in their native tongue, Korean. Their music holds so much power that it literally breaks through the barriers of language. And no, they're not done yet. Today, November 20th, they're releasing their 5th studio album, B. Their singles on the album, Dynamite and Life Goes On. And chances are, life will go on for BTS. And chances are they'll continue to break even more records. They've shown that they're capable of dominating music charts across the world and even reaching across the Pacific Ocean and conquering the music industry in the United States. What's next for them? Mars? In any case, they've only started in 2013 and BTS is as strong as it's ever been. As far as we know, they will only continue to light it up like a dynamite.
That was the best guide that I've seen
That's the best
so
guide
far.
I've ever seen too.
Because it was so informational. Like it wasn't like too much of the band themselves.
Yeah.
But I'd rather just learn what I need to know about them and their story.
Right, because we're here for, the music and the entertainment aspect of it, just based on like our company principles, which is education and entertainment.
That's exactly what that was.
This is the type of guys that will keep us engaged. Now, the ones that are super long and it's getting to know them, I feel like we need shorter guides of that, and then we'll just get to know them like over time. That's just me personally. This is the best guide I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. And when I hear guide, like this was what I envisioned. Like somebody walking us through the story, the journey with clips of them behind the scenes. Like it was just a perfect mix of education and entertainment for me.
Yeah, and that's what we're rocking with. Hey, we want to thank everybody for just being here with us on this journey. Like, I know you guys are excited for us to watch some of this footage, but like we're excited for you to just stick around and like see the growth between us personally and just like our growth on this journey, and ultimately just make this a place where, you guys are giving us so much game and knowledge, but we just want to make sure that, you're getting game and knowledge too. So we hope to introduce you to new bands, new groups. We hope to, sprinkle in our professionalism here and there. Yeah. And hopefully you leave with more than just us watching footage,
Yeah, for sure. We want to, spoil you guys, the people that support us the hardest, like we want to reciprocate that energy and go hard for you guys too. So, just keep sending us suggestions, keep having those conversations with us, keep commenting and giving us feedback, because you guys truly are shaping what our content and our days look like.
It's crazy, man, ain't it?
Yeah.
It's a crazy experience for us.
The feeling is mutual. If you guys love and support us, we love and support you guys back just as much. So thank you.
Yeah. Till next time.